cruisers, we just got on board the Oceania Vista, so we are so thrilled. And the nice thing about this trip is Jason has already done a full review of the Vista, which we'll post a link. I don't know where it'll be, so probably one of these locations. You can click the link to see his full tour and walkthrough.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Popular Cruising Report. I am Jason.
And I'm Heidi.
And this is our new home studio.
Woohoo!
Really cool. You like the sign? I do. It's all decked out. Heyo!
Yeah,
so
there you go.
Here we are, and we're going to be talking today about our Oceanian cruises trip that we took on the brand new Vista. Very exciting.
Gorgeous ship.
Gorgeous ship. Absolutely beautiful. The architecture, everything. Super comfortable.
Yeah, they really elevated the design on this ship. We loved lounging around the pool every day in these day beds and doing the daily crossword puzzle.
We did do that.
The bathrooms in the cabins are amazing. But today we're going to be talking about the food.
I am here to tell the story.
And I am here for the food.
Oceania Cruises really is a foodie's paradise.
And we're going to be talking about everything from the main dining room all the way to Privee,
Right.
which is...
Privee is ultra exclusive. It's a private dining experience, which we did get to enjoy on board. So you got to stay till the end of the video to check that out.
Got to promise. And now's a great opportunity, if you haven't already done so, to please subscribe to our channel where we got our little counter right here. So I'd like to see that grow as much as we can. So please do, and we really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks so much for your support.
Absolutely. Okay, so the main dining room on board is called the Grand Dining Room, and it's just that. It is a gorgeous grand dining room.
It might be the prettiest MDR at sea.
I think so.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, just look at this thing. It's unbelievable, right?
It's incredible.
And not only that, for the main dining room fare being, you know, what would normally be the base fare, which is already way above other cruise lines.
Super elevated cuisine.
Yeah.
You'd be happy eating here every night,
For sure.
except then you'd be sad because you'd miss the specialty restaurants, which we're going to talk about later.
Yeah. But this is what we had. We only went one night to the main dining room, but what we had was great. I had a traditional beef tartare, as you can see here. Really yummy. If you like raw meat, that's not for everybody, but I do like raw meat. What can I say? Raw meat with a flair.
Oh, gosh.
And then, honey, you had...
I had the traditional French onion soup because anytime I see that on a menu, you know I'm going to get it. And it was delicious.
It's got cheese on top. I mean,
It's got a layer of cheese.
You can't go wrong. Yeah.
And for my entree, I selected the pancetta wrapped turkey tornadoes. And this was a really nice dish. The sauce was just amazing. That was the best thing on the plate. I love a sauce. So this was tasty.
And I had the veal Oscar medallions, which are topped, as you can see here, with asparagus and crab meat and a bit of hollandaise sauce. And, well, you just can't go wrong again with the sauce. I mean, I loved it.
I don't think you gave me a bite of this one. What's up with that?
Well, normally you don't go for seafood, but you do like crab.
I love crab.
Yeah, I should have. I'm sorry. Next time.
Forgiven.
Okay, appreciate that.
We skipped dessert this night because on an 11-night cruise, you really have to pace yourself. So set one deck above the pool is the new expanded Baristas and Bakery. And this was a spot that was really popular on board. There was a lot of seating. This is a good place to like play cards or play games, read a book, do a puzzle.
And mind you, all of the specialty coffees are included. They're all free on board Oceania. So that's awesome. And then attached to Baristas, of course, is the bakery. And there's a lot of great treats, as you can see during the day here. Anything from breakfast pastries all the way to lunchtime. There was a daily quiche.
Sandwiches, sweet pastries, and the menu was always rotating. So every day there was something new.
Honey, what about the buffet on board?
The buffet on board is the Terrace Cafe, and here you can eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You've got your traditional buffet fare, but what's really special is you can get a lot of made-to-order items.
Yeah.
So some things that we got while we were on board is I had like a made-to-order Caesar salad, which was delicious. And then
the seriously good pesto pasta.
Yeah, the pasta station was really good. We kept going back there.
For sure.
Yeah, several different sauces, different pastas.
So far, we haven't featured any desserts, but we had some seriously good ice cream here.
We've got to talk about Humphrey Slocombe ice cream. This stuff is delicious. So Humphrey Slocombe has some really inventive flavors. My personal favorite is the after school special. It has chocolate covered potato chips in it, and it's so good.
And what better way to segue from ice cream than to go to the Aquamar Kitchen, which is the healthy fare on board, poolside, and it was actually pretty tasty.
And it was really popular too.
Yeah.
It was bustling every day. They had a lot of different ingredients to choose from.
Fresh juices.
Yeah, the fresh juices were really good. Mine was like a orange, beet, carrot, turmeric situation.
And mine right here also had turmeric, but with orange, lime, ginger, and even cayenne pepper.
They were really tasty.
Yeah. And what I had to eat was the pita chicken, which is basically a chicken breast with feta and a Greek salad on top. You can't go wrong.
I had a made-to-order salad. It was just very light and delicious and satisfying.
And on the flip side of the ship was something that's not maybe quite as healthy, but still really tasty. That is the Waves Grill.
This is a great place to grab lunch while you're lounging around the pool. They've got your classic, burgers, hot dogs, that sort of thing. But they also have some really tasty stuff like surf and turf.
Yeah, specialty burritos.
Yeah, you had like a mahi-mahi burrito one day.
Burrito,
You can get a
nice.
salmon burger. So there's really something for everyone at the Waves Grill.
For sure. And come dinner time,
Oh my
Waves
gosh.
Grill becomes a pizzeria. And this is new to the Vista.
It was so good. It's Neapolitan style pizza, and it's the kind that where they bake it, it gets little like brown bubbles on the crust.
do love a brown
Oh my
bubble.
gosh, it's my favorite.
And you can even get burrata as an appetizer 4 different ways with balsamic, fresh tomato.
Yeah, it's really tasty. I mean, if you like pizza, you're going to find yourself going back here over and over. And pro tip, these pizzas are a little big for one person, especially as you get further into the cruise and get fuller. So even though they don't say so on the menu, you can actually get half and half with one set of toppings on one side and another set on the other side.
And I don't often promote products on this channel, but you might recognize this little guy up here, a little map that we've got. This is from the Cruise Maps. It's a pretty neat product. So what's really cool about this is it takes the GPS data from your actual cruise and maps it out. So it'll actually go port to port, show exactly where your ship went.
It's a really cool itinerary. It is Colonial America and Bermuda.
I think this is really a cool product. It's available in 12 by 16 or 18 by 24, framed or unframed, landscape or portrait orientation. So you got a lot of options. All you have to do is you put your ship name in, your start and end ports, and your departure date, and you can title it whatever you want, and they'll print it and ship it to you for free. And even better than that, you can get a 10% discount or a popular 10 code. So that's POPULAR 10. Or alternatively, you can click the link in the description.
And this is a really great gift. Like if you're doing some sort of milestone cruise, honeymoon, anniversary, family reunion, this would be a really great memento of the trip.
For sure. And now onto the specialty restaurants on board Vista. Ordinarily, specialty restaurant on a cruise ship means it's going to cost more. However, on Oceania, it is included. It just means you have to make a reservation.
And then all categories of cabins can make reservations for specialty restaurants ahead of time. The higher the cabin you get, the more reservations you can make. And then once you get on board, you can actually make additional reservations, just space available.
So here we are at Toscana tonight, and we're here to enjoy some food from the godmother of the ship, actually.
Yes, Giada De Laurentiis is the godmother and a celebrity chef. And we noticed she has a couple of dishes on the menu that are lemon focused, which is one of your favorites.
It is. So I'll be sure to be checking that out and sharing that with everybody.
Yeah, so let's go eat.
Yeah. And the meal, of course, starts out with the Parmesan cheese.
Yeah, and it's the kind where it's like really crystally and yummy.
To go with your bread and your olive oil and vinegar selection.
Oh, that's right. They had someone come around with different like olive oils and balsamics you could choose from, and I just asked him to give me his favorite.
Appetizer-wise, I had the caprese, which is always a traditional.
You always order a caprese.
I do. It's just refreshing.
I had a spinach salad, and it was really light and refreshing and delicious and a nice way to start the meal.
But on to what we consider to be our probably favorite dish from the entire cruise.
Yeah.
Is godmother
Giada De Laurentiis' lemon pasta. It was so good. So pictured here is the small portion, which I ordered because I was getting full already. It was the wrong choice to order the small portion. I should have gotten like a double portion and not ordered anything else. This was so rich and creamy and lemony and delicious, and every bite we were just making yummy noises.
For sure.
Okay, so this was the Panette San Gimignano, and I wanted to impress the waitress by saying San Gimignano because we traveled there before, and
it's in the Tuscan countryside and it's just gorgeous.
It's so cool. It's like a walled city, and we were there, and it started snowing, and we bought a wheel of truffle cheese.
Magical.
It was magical. This dish was fine. Honestly, I would have rather had more of the lemon pasta.
And another entree that was on the menu from Godmother Giada was a branzino pomegranate that I had. And that was a really tasty fish dish if you're into that.
And Toscana has a really big menu. It's hard to choose. So if you want to go back twice, this might be a good one. There's going to be something for everybody.
Including dessert, which, what did I have? I had the let me try to pronounce this. Tortino di cioccolata fondente, which is molten dark chocolate cake, Sicilian.
So authentically Italian.
So authentically Italian. Sicilian blood orange sauce. I mean, I love orange with chocolate, so this is a winner. But what you had was...
I had just classic Italian tiramisu, and I was super full by this point, and so I was just going to have a bite or two, but it was so good. Yeah, that's the one bite. Hey, Jason, do you know what time it is?
Steak time.
Tonight we're going to be dining in the specialty restaurant Polo Grill. This is the steakhouse on board Vista, and this is where you're going to get your steak. You're going to get your fillets. You're going to get your porterhouse. You're going to get some seafood, and you can always add a lobster tail.
So here again, I got the beef tartare. I know I'm predictable.
More raw meat.
More raw meat, exactly.
And for my meal, I started with the cream of mushroom soup.
And I had the BLT salad, which honestly didn't really wow me. It was one of those deconstructed situations where you basically do all the work.
Yeah.
Let's face it.
Right.
And it just looked like the toppings of a taco. So the piece de resistance, of course, of a steakhouse is indeed the steaks. And how many different toppings were there?
There was like 5 or 6 different choices of toppings.
And then 8 sauces.
Yeah, it was amazing.
You had a filet.
I had a filet with, I think it was like grilled onions, bacon, and blue cheese.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what sauce I had, but it was delicious.
And surprisingly for me, I just went for a basic filet. I'm usually like the porterhouse kind of guy, but
do you remember why?
I was super full by now.
We were going to skip dessert, but then we saw the menu.
Bailey's cheesecake.
I love Bailey's, and it was Bailey's cheesecake. It was
super creamy.
It was really good.
Yeah,
I recommend this one if you like the flavor of Bailey's.
For sure.
And I got to tell you, this man gets very excited when they bring out a plate of fruit jellies at the end of the meal.
Candy, let's face it. So here we are at Red Ginger. This is a restaurant that is available only on the Vista, the Marina, and the Riviera. I was a huge fan of it when I was on the Riviera, so we're excited to try it tonight. And Heidi will tell you a little bit more about what we can expect.
So this is the meal I've been most looking forward to on board. We both love Asian cuisine, and Red Ginger is a Pan-Asian restaurant, so there's a lot of different cultures represented here. I know we've got some Thai dishes on the menu. There's a lobster pad Thai for those of you who are lobster fans. There's, of course, a sushi selection. There's even an Indonesian dish on the menu, and we're just gonna have to order a bunch of different things.
And one of the dishes you can share for the table is skewers, sushi, and tempura, which is good for 2 to 4 people. So it's a pretty big dish, as you can see here. And boy, howdy, the sushi.
Oh, the sushi was great,
really
and the tempura was good too. This is a must order.
Flavor profiles.
Yeah.
And for my soup, I actually got a soup this time, isn't that right? I got the Tom Kha Gai soup, which is a Thai-style dish, and boy, howdy, again, the flavor just popped.
And honestly, the spicy duck and watermelon salad is one of the most talked about dishes on the ship, so I had to try it. It was great. So it's cold duck, which goes really well with the cold watermelon. I am not really a fan of watermelon nor of duck, but I loved this dish. That's how good it was. Like, good food is just good food, right?
And then when it came to the entrees here, I had the slow-cooked Indonesian-style beef rendang.
Oh, I remember you were raving about this dish.
It was one of those that was seriously slow cooked. Like, it was
like super flavorful
to the extreme.
And I ordered the bulgogi ribeye steak, and looking back at it, I'm like, this looks like something you would order. Like, I'm surprised that I got that.
I'm looking at this picture, just like my mouth is watering.
Yeah, it was really good. It had a lot of really nice marbling in it. Honestly, this is something you should just order and split at the table, because it was huge, it was delicious, but it was just too much steak for me.
The table.
Right.
And you do love a side.
I love a side. Like, I could just eat apps and sides and be happy. So this was
this bowl wasn't big enough, is what you're saying.
No, like, this was the udon noodle. I think I finished yours, actually, if I remember correctly. Yeah, you were all about that rendang, and I was like, let me have all of your sides. Thank you.
So tonight we're dining here at Ember, and we're really excited. This is a new restaurant for the Vista. If you've been on the Marina and the Riviera before, you will know that this was the space that was occupied by Jacques. How would you describe this one? I
think the menu looks a little like elevated American to me. We're excited to try it. I think it's going to be a good alternative to kind of like the drawn out super fancy meal. But it still looks like a really beautiful restaurant. Okay, so your meal at Ember is going to start with what looks like just a normal dinner roll, but this is a brioche roll. It has
lots of butter.
Lots of butter. It has coarse sea salt on the top, and this was really good. And for my appetizer, I had the blackened crab cake. It was very good. As you can see, there's corn, which is going to be a theme for this meal.
Yeah, kind of Santa Fe style. And I had the classic New England lobster roll, and it was a good one. You know, nothing too extraordinary, but it wasn't a huge portion, which was
it was nice that it was like a mini one.
Good starter.
Yeah. Ooh, this one's so pretty. That's a gorgeous plate of food.
It really is. I did like this one. It was plated well, but there was just something about the texture of the tuna itself that just didn't quite resonate for me.
Yeah, didn't knock it out of the park.
No, not this time.
And here is the grilled beef tenderloin. Honestly, I think I ordered this just because it came with chimichurri, and as I think you know by now, I love sauces. And this was a good steak. I did enjoy this.
Yeah, and more corn.
So much corn.
And then, of course, I had the porcini dusted bone-in ribeye steak.
Jason.
It's a huge one.
Jason, can we look at the size of this steak?
It's a wide angle lens.
Okay, we're going to go with it. The camera added 10 pounds to this steak.
It's like Monica and Friends.
How many cameras are on this steak?
Several. Okay, then also for the table, we tried the Cajun grilled scallops, which were tasty, but again, lots of corn. If you love corn, this is your restaurant, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah. It was very corn forward, shall we say.
This was my favorite dessert of the whole trip. Will you take a look at that? This was the triple chocolate brownie sundae. It had salted caramel. It has chocolate shavings. I mean, you know, you can get a lot of like fancy elevated desserts, but there's something I just love about a brownie sundae. So if you're a fan of chocolate, you gotta order this one.
Yeah. And similarly, I had the roasted apple tart, which was really good. And
It
again,
has popcorn.
popcorn.
I love
So
that.
more corn.
Oh my gosh, more corn.
It's more corn.
Okay, so here's my take on Ember, because it's a beautiful space.
Yeah.
You remember the brick ceiling
That
and
faux fireplace thing.
faux fireplace.
The display kitchen. That was cool.
Yeah, that was really
Yeah.
cool. I would like to go back and do it again. And I don't want to say like, oh, we ordered the wrong things, because everything should be good, right?
Sure.
You shouldn't be able to order the wrong thing. But I think what might serve you well at this restaurant is to order the less elevated stuff. Like they have like the spinach artichoke dip. They have fish and chips, shrimp tacos.
Good comfort food.
Yeah, I say order the dishes that are a little more casual. And I think that might make for a better meal.
I agree.
Well, that was a fine meal. Yes, it was, wasn't it? Yes, what should we do now? Let's have a lunch. Oh, good idea.
We did return to Ember for one of these special wine pairing lunches.
Oh my gosh.
It
The
was
sommelier lunch. I think this was my favorite meal on board overall. This was really, really delightful. And it was prepared by the executive chef himself and
Came
his
out to
team.
introduce it. So what do we have here?
Well, we had wine.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
What?
Oh my gosh.
Where are you
right.
going? Oh, I see what you're up to. Ooh,
Look,
okay.
we cannot talk about this meal without having a glass of
Right.
wine. So cheers.
Cheers. And cheers to you.
Cheers to you. So at this lunch, we had some really lovely bottles of wine, but I will say that I did pay over $10 for this bottle. So
Trader Joe's. This video is not sponsored. However,
Trader Joe's, hit me up.
Right.
I love you.
Yeah. So this meal was a 6-courser, and we started out with artichoke and black olive tapenade tartlet, a small little amuse-bouche, but it was like one of those like perfect bites you talk about.
It was a perfect bite. You love artichokes. I love
Right.
olives. Something that was really exciting just about this menu in general is I definitely consider myself a foodie, but I have a few little picky tendencies.
Yeah, that's fair.
So sometimes with like a tasting menu, I'm like, oh, I wouldn't like that or that. Loved the whole menu. It was so great. It's like Oceania has this way of making this really elevated food, but making it accessible.
For sure.
So even if you see it and it's something where you're like, I'm not sure if I'll like that, just try it because
Yeah, you may find something you never discovered before that you like and return for it.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
my
And this
gosh.
was the second course. This was like scrambled eggs done right.
So the executive chef himself made this dish. And it was kind of funny, right? Everyone in the room's kind of like scrambled eggs.
Right.
And then the plate comes out.
Scrambled eggs with truffle.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh.
This was so good. And what wine did we have with this?
This one was the Silver Trident Winery Symphony No. 9 Sauvignon Blanc.
Excellent. Very fancy. And this is the Trader Joe's Sauvignon.
Indeed. And next up, we had the poached scallop and lobster bouchon.
Oh, this one was really tasty. And what I remember about this is this dish had a white wine sauce, which was lovely and delicate, but they paired it with a red wine, with a burgundy. And I thought that was really interesting. And it just went so well together.
And even though this one looks a little bit like a meatloaf, honestly, it was not a meatloaf. It tasted way better.
This was the slow-cooked beef confit. This is not your mama's Sunday meatloaf.
Right?
This was a flavor explosion
It was
in your
seriously
mouth.
good. I wanted more than one of these.
Yeah, but we had to pace
I
ourselves.
think I finished yours.
That's right, you did. A vineyard that produces one of my favorite Chardonnays is Farniente.
Yeah, that's
and I
right.
had never had Farniente's Cabernet Sauvignon, which is
Yeah.
what was paired with this dish. And that was delightful.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I really liked about this lunch is Oceania is an upscale cruise
Mm-hmm.
line. So you're paying a premium to be on board. You're paying a premium for all these amazing dishes. And this lunch was actually an extra fee, but well worth it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
But what I really liked, do you remember how we noticed it wasn't like, here's your 3 ounces of wine that you get with this course?
Right. Oh, they were generous with the pours.
They were super generous. They would just open a number of bottles, and if you finished a wine with your course, they'd
come and
come.
refill you.
Yeah, so I thought that it felt very like anti-nickel and diming.
Oh, for sure. And of course, we came to a cheese course. Which
Duo of cheese.
Duo of cheese.
Oh my gosh.
The most beautiful duo ever.
And I asked
Other than us, of course.
the most beautiful. So I asked the executive chef what his favorite dish was from that meal. And he himself is French. And he's not skinny because you shouldn't trust a skinny chef. And he said the cheese.
Of course.
I so appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the man can like cook anything, but he's like, I just want a plate of, I just want a duo of French cheese.
And the duo French cheese we had.
Yes, it was served with a Bulgari.
I'll just say Tuscan
I
style.
actually,
white.
no, I actually want to
No,
see
no,
you
no,
pronounce. I would like to see you pronounce this wine. So please go ahead and read that.
I think it's Le Serre Nove. Del Ornellaia, Bulgaria. I'm Ron Burgundy.
This is from Tuscany, and all of Italy hates you right now.
Right. I apologize to the country of Italy.
Yes.
And finishing off with the dessert, we had...
This was a chocolate fondant. This was delicious, even though we were very full.
With raspberry sherbet, no less.
Yeah.
Did I say that right?
You did.
Okay.
This was really good. And there was a, oh dear, Chateau de la Roulerie Coteau du Léon from Loire Valley, France.
Tienes con vivir en las fortezas.
Not only did we have a wine pairing lunch on board, but we also did have a special wine pairing dinner. Again, another surcharge, but highly worth it.
Yes.
This is the one that was in Privee, the one we previewed at the beginning of the video. Exclusive venue. Yeah.
And we had the best meal, and this was some of the best service
Oh, for sure.
I've ever had at a meal.
Yeah, it was introduced by the Sommelier as well as the head chef again. Who
Yeah,
came
the
out.
executive chef was there.
Before we even went into Privee.
Oh, right.
We started at the library.
Yes, you meet in the library where the learned people are,
Yes.
and then they bring you a glass of champagne, and it was caviar, right?
Caviar.
It was really good.
You had me at caviar. So unlike the 6-course lunch that we had, this is the 8-course Odyssey menu.
Not counting the caviar.
Yeah, so when this bad boy came out,
This was cool.
this is cool. You know, cooking on the spot, basically.
Yeah, so it's like a super hot river rock.
Yeah.
And there's a teriyaki scallop on top of it. Sizzling, right?
Sizzling.
This scallop was so tender
Caramelized.
and juicy. Yeah, I love
Yeah.
caramelized anything.
So good. And then our second course was the foie gras sauteed with pineapple and hibiscus flowers, of all things.
Right.
Very interesting.
Yeah, and I normally wouldn't like order foie gras,
Yeah.
but when in Rome, right?
And it was so perfectly balanced.
It was really good. I mean, foie gras is so rich.
It's very rich.
But the way they did it here was just
Yeah, it was
delicious.
like a pineapple chutney, I'd almost say. It was really good.
Yeah. Next, they brought out the Maine lobster cassoulet with tarragon and sea urchin bisque. I remember really liking this one. Again, very buttery.
Succulent.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at the color on that. So good.
It's just gorgeous.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love a mushroom risotto.
Yeah.
But I do remember this is when the fullness started to settle in.
That is true.
And I couldn't finish it, and I was so sad.
I think I finished yours. Again.
theme.
Yeah, it is a thing. Had that kind of bite to it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was just
really
perfect
nice.
and so flavorful.
And it also had truffle in it. Again, you can't go wrong with truffle.
Can't go wrong with truffle. And these courses were all paired with wine as well.
Okay, then we went to the Wellington. I do love a Wellington.
I know, and I was a little nervous about this one because I'm just not like super into veal.
Right.
I'm embarrassed to say.
But it was wrapped in
It was so
pastry.
good. Oh my gosh. It was so good.
And you're not even usually like a pate fan.
No.
That was
Everything was
for me
perfect.
also.
So I'm very sorry to all the baby cows out there, but this was really
It
good.
was good. Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yeah. There it
This
is.
was my favorite.
So here's the first of our desserts, and it was pears with cheese.
It was so good. So this was a Napoleon of poached pear, and it had melted brie de Meaux. You've had brie and Meaux, right?
I have. Yeah, it just really had a great balance between the richness of the cheese and the fruit, just kind of that tartness.
Yeah, the fruitiness of
Yeah,
the pear. It
perfect.
was just a perfect match.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, I had never had floating island before. Did you know that?
Oh, really?
Yeah, this
Oh,
was
so
my
good.
first floating island.
Yeah, look how beautiful that is.
I loved this.
The caramel drizzle on top.
It was like a hard caramel drizzle on top and with like pistachio
Yeah.
cream with it. And this came with a sparkling wine.
It's got a moat.
Yes, it was
A
really
moat
tasty.
pistachio.
Yeah, so this will not be my last floating island.
Yeah, we'll be coming back.
Yes.
And to finish, as of course, all meals must with pedophores.
Yes.
Basically, candy to finish off your dessert.
Because 2 desserts was not enough. So I think we both agree that Privee is something you really should treat yourself to if you're a foodie. It was top-notch experience. If you're traveling with a group too, this could be a really fun private meal because you're in a private dining room.
Nestled
right?
between Toscana and Polo Grill.
You
So it has
kind
the view towards the back of the ship.
Yeah,
Great
yeah.
view.
Great view. And they kind of like parade you through Toscana and everyone's like, where are they going?
So thanks so much for coming along on this special food journey with us. It's been great.
Yeah, it was really fun sharing all of these dishes with you. I hope we inspired you to try something on an Oceania trip that you may have planned in the future, and maybe we'll see you on board. The dish itself had a white wine.
White Wayne. White Wayne. White Wayne.
Listen, talking is hard. I don't need your attitude.
Thanks so much for watching. If you would, as it really does help support us, please like this video with a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel while hitting that bell icon and being notified of new videos, and watch our other ones and visit popularcruising.com.